For anyone who happened to stumble in here for actual legitimate toot ship names, I am so sorry. This probably isn't the video for you, but hey, you're welcome to stay if you want.
What's become of my ship?
So there's a lot of interesting ship names out there. Interesting in the sense of being charming, interesting in the sense of being funny, interesting in the sense of being maybe slightly disturbing. And I've already made a video about how ship names can come to be, how the mechanics work, but today I wanted to sit down with you and share some of the, in my opinion, best ship names out there in fandom. And all of these ships come from a very large variety of fandoms, from video games to books, movies, TV shows, cartoons, anime, music. And you know, even if you're not an actual fan of the ship itself, sometimes you just gotta tip your hat and commend the name. Like, yeah, okay, that's good, that's creative. Now, as you're well aware, there's always some form of shipping discourse happening in fan communities. Like, why do you ship those characters together? They don't even interact, or they're not canon, they're this, they're that, they don't look good together. I ship these characters because of their backstories, their potential, they're complimentary, it's juicy, or I like their aesthetic. But real fans enjoy a pairing because their ship name is cool. Now, just as a disclaimer, I myself do not ship all of the pairings I've compiled. Hell, for a lot of them, I'm not even terribly familiar with their source media or the characters themselves. I put them on this list because, again, I just think their ship name sounds cool. And so if you are a fan of any of the ships we go over and want to explain why you like them and their appeal in the comments, then please feel free to do so. It'll be much appreciated. Educate the people. Spread your ship brain rot. Knowing just how many ships are floating around in the fandom ether, I more than likely skipped over a fair amount. And so if you want a part 2 or part 3 or part 5 to this video, then please let me know. So without further ado, here are some of the best ship names. Violin, or Piltover's Finest, the ship between Caitlyn and Vi from Arcane. Victory, the ship between Victor and Yuri from Yuri on Ice. Complain, the ship between Shang Qinghua and Shan Qingchul from Scumvillain's Self-Saving System. I love it so much. Romance, the ship between Nancy Wheeler and Robin Buckley from Stranger Things. Matcha Blossom, the ship between Cherry and Joe from Skate the Infinity. Ineffable Husbands, the ship between Crowley and Aziraphale from Good Omens. Catpie, or the ship between Katniss Everdeen and Peeta Mellark from The Hunger Games. Radio Static, the ship between Alistair and Vox from Hazbin Hotel. Beefleaf, the ship between Shi Qingchun and He Xuan from Heaven Official's Blessing. Shat, the ship between Matt Holt and Shiro from Voltron Legendary Defender. Dildo, the ship between Albedo and Diluc from Genshin Impact. Bad News Bears, aka Persalia, the ship between Percy and Vixalia from Critical Role. Lincoln Shark, aka Sid Link, the ship between Sidon and Link from The Legend of Zelda. Ravioli, the ship between Ravio and Link from The Legend of Zelda. Serenity, the ship between Louis Serra and Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil. Golden Ratio, aka Rat Urine, the ship between Dr. Veritas Ratio and Aventurine from Honkai Star Rail. Ineffable Bureaucracy, the ship between Gabriel and Beelzebub from Good Omens. Stark Spangled Banner, the ship between Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, and Bruce Banner from Marvel. Amethyst Ocean, the ship between Danny and Sam from Danny Phantom. Mega Rod, the ship between Megatron and Rodimus from Transformers. Hot Wings, the ship between Hawks and Dobby from My Hero Academia. Starch, the ship between March and Stell from Honkai Star Rail. Tomato, the ship between Toma and Ayato from Genshin Impact. Chili, the ship between Zhongli and Child from Genshin Impact. Pepperoni, the ship between Pepper Potts and Tony Stark from Marvel. I think I just have a soft spot for food-themed ship names. Guns N' Roses, aka Booty Hill, the ship between Argenti and Boot Hill from Honkai Star Rail. Adam's Apple, the ship between Adam and Lucifer from Hazbin Hotel. It Hurts When I Pee, aka Bushfire, the ship between Sniper and Pyro from Team Fortress 2. Captain Floor, the ship between Captain Hook and The Floor from Once Upon a Time. Spider-Bite, the ship between Sombra and Widowmaker from Overwatch. Apple TV, the ship between Lucifer and Vox from Hazbin Hotel. Taser Tricks, the ship between Darcy Lewis and Loki from Marvel. I like this. Confetti, the ship between Obi-Wan Kenobi
Hello there.
and Jango Fett from Star Wars. Hellspawn, the ship between Astarion and Karlak from Baldur's Gate 3. J-Mart, the ship between Jonathan Sims and Martin Blackwood from the Magnus Archives. Chansaw, the ship between Heather Chandler and Veronica Sawyer from Heathers. Why does it sound so right? Pharmacy, the ship between Farah and Mercy from Overwatch. Snowing, the ship between Snow White and Prince Charming from Once Upon a Time. Dust Bunny, the ship between Mirako and Shigaraki from My Hero Academia. Dead on Main, the crossover ship between Danny Phantom and Jason Todd from Danny Phantom and DC. Bloodbear, or Ursa Minor, the ship between Astarion and Halsin from Baldur's Gate 3. Starbucks, aka Stucky, the ship between Steve Rogers and Bucky Barnes from Marvel. Lonely Eyes, the ship between Elias Bouchard and Peter Lucas from the Magnus Archives. Photonegative Narcissus, the ship between Danny Phantom and Danny Fantin from Danny Phantom. This one's got a bit of oomph to it. Nuts and Dolts, the ship between Penny and Ruby from Ruby. Charlie's Angels, the ship between Charlie, Emily, and Vaggie from Hazbin Hotel. Bloodweave, the ship between Astarion and Gale from Baldur's Gate 3. Dickfire, or Dickory, the ship between Dick Grayson and Starfire Corey from DC. Whew. Prohibited Wish, the ship between Prismo and the Scarab from Adventure Time. Aerosol, the ship between Eridan and Solix from Homestuck. Beneficial, the ship between Bennett and Fischl from Genshin Impact. Doorkey, the ship between Gerard Key and Michael Shelley the Distortion from the Magnus Archives. Bunny Ribbit, the ship between Lucio and Diva from Overwatch. Spitfire, the ship between Artemis Croc and Wally West from Young Justice. Wolfstar, the ship between Sirius Black and Remus Lupin from The Marauders. Or Spurk, the ship between Kirk and Spock from Star Trek. Hot dog! Shallow Sapphire, the ship between Danny and Paulina from Danny Phantom. Wave, the ship between Soundwave and Shockwave from Transformers. Dickstroke, the ship between Dick Grayson and Slade Wilson from DC. Blood Shart, the ship between Astarion and Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate 3. That is certainly a choice. Cheese Wrinkle, the ship between Elminster and Withers from Baldur's Gate 3. Some goddamn peace and quiet, the ship between Ren and Neo from Ruby. Moulin Rouge, the ship between Mulan and Red from Once Upon a Time. Ghostbat, the ship between Bruce Wayne, Batman, and Minkoa Khan, Ghostmaker from DC. Jizzy, the ship between LD Shadow Lady and Smallish Beans, aka Lizzie and Joel from Minecraft YouTube. This one definitely sounds like one that'll just stay in your brain for a while. Quill Killer, the ship between Bellatrix Lestrange and Rita Skeeter from Harry Potter. Netflix, the ship between Felix and Annette from Fire Emblem. Mona Lisa, the ship between Mona and Lisa from Genshin Impact. Museum Heist, the ship between Wally West, Artemis Croc, and Dick Grayson from Young Justice. Yes! Star Chaser, the ship between James Potter and Regulus Black from The Marauders. Shell Shocked, the crossover ship between Mikey and Miles Morales from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Spider-Man. Bon Voyage, the ship between Demo Man and Spy from Team Fortress 2. Die Hard, the ship between Alice and Gwen from the Magnus Protocol. Snugbuzel, the ship between Artemis Croc and Zatanna Zatara from Young Justice. Murder Husbands, the ship between Hannibal Lecter and Will Graham from Hannibal. Dumbfounded, the ship between Dash and Sam from Danny Phantom. World War Threesome, the ship between Steve Rogers, Bucky Barnes, and Peggy Carter from Marvel. Soundrod, the ship between Soundwave and Rodimus from Transformers. Laserheart, the ship between Lae'zel and Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate 3. Snack, the ship between Severus Snape and Sirius Black from The Marauders. Hooflay, the ship between the Doctor and Clara Oswald from Doctor Who. Packaged Food, the ship between the Box Ghost and the Lunch Lady from Danny Phantom. Sea Monkeys, the ship between Sun and Neptune from Ruby. Casket, the ship between Richard Rick Castle and Catherine Kate Beckett from Castle. I don't know what this is, but I'm down for it. SS, the ship between Harry Potter and Voldemort from Harry Potter. Fish and Chips, the ship between Deadfish and Harmony from Splatoon. Hellcheer, the ship between Eddie Munson and Chrissy Cunningham from Stranger Things. Come, the ship between Kurt and Sam from Glee. Cream Machine, the ship between Neo and Penny from Ruby. Swagger Bishy, the ship between Danny and Dash from Danny Phantom. Frankenwolf, the ship between Victor Frankenstein and Red from Once Upon a Time. Love, the ship between Logan and Veronica from Veronica Mars. Freedom Fries, the ship between Soldier and Spy from Team Fortress 2. Magnet, the ship between Pyrrha and Blake from Ruby. Wow. Gin and Tonic, the ship between Ginny Weasley and Tom Riddle from Harry Potter. Wangxian, the ship between Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji from the Grand Master of Demonic Cultivation. Wincest, the ship between Sam and Dean Winchester from Supernatural. Terminal Velocity, the ship between Oliver Banks and Michael Crew from the Magnus Archives. Greased Lightning, the ship between Severus Snape and Harry Potter from Harry Potter. Buddy, the ship between Evan Buck Buckley and Eddie Diaz from 911. Alcoholics Anonymous, the ship between Crow and Willow from Ruby. Bagger, the ship between musicians David Bowie and Mick Jagger. Nightlight, the ship between John and Jessica from Ruby. Anger Management, the crossover ship between Jason Todd and Jazz Fenton from DC and Danny Phantom. Winter, the ship between Willow and Hunter from The Owl House. Baked Alaska, the ship between Neo and Yang from Ruby. Ruby in general has so many great ship names, it's hard to pick favorites or else I'd be here all day. Brain Dead, the crossover ship between Tim Drake and Danny Fenton from DC and Danny Phantom. Time Bomb, the ship between Echo and Jinx from Arcane. Speedy Recovery, the ship between Tracer and Mercy from Overwatch. Glass Frog, the ship between Ella Mills and Tiana from Once Upon a Time. Scarlet Widow, the ship between Scarlet Witch and Black Widow from Marvel. And Hypnotherapy, the ship between Ember and Jazz from Danny Phantom. A lot of great ones from Danny Phantom too, jeez. And there you have it. Can we commend the artistic flair of some of these shippers, please? That was quite the ride. Thanks for sticking through it. I hope you enjoyed. What was your favorite out of the bunch that we covered? As always, if you'd like to see more fandom and fan culture-esque videos from yours truly, then feel free to subscribe. And if you want to check out my fanfiction recommendation list with over 1,000 fanfics on there, as well as watch exclusive videos not on the channel, then check out my Patreon or YouTube memberships. Thank you all so much again for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!